Hello, friends, and welcome back. I'm surprised people are still here, but they are. And they like us. Mandee, they like us. This is the Find Your People podcast. I am Katie.
And I'm Mandee.
We are having so much fun. I wish y'all could see like the actual show notes that we post because I go in there during the week and I'm like, okay, we're talking about that. So this week is going to be so much fun. It's going to be a lot more baseball, which I'm here for. I'm loving it. I'm here for Mandee's story of the week. I'm here for Little League, all the things.
Something has happened on the Cubs game that I currently have.
I know, and I've got
Boy
Little
is
League, and something's
lying
happening.
down on the mound.
Oh
Must
no!
have got hit by a comebacker.
Ouch.
Sorry.
There's a conversation I think we need to have because I saw some clips about proper protection and why they aren't wearing it anymore as much because there have been a lot of hits that should not have hurt as bad as they did lately.
Well,
I'm just saying.
listen. All the protection they do have. Oh yeah, the pitcher got hit in the thigh.
Oh,
He gonna be all right.
he'll be all right.
He gonna be all right.
I'm going to talk about some Auburn football stuff. The cemetery work that I do, you'll see. And then Mandee this week is going to, of course, have our baseball talk. And then she's got her favorites. And I can't wait to hear about some of these. I'm very interested about a couple of them in particular. So I'm thrilled to have that list. I can't wait to hear about it. My video is frozen in a very weird way. I don't know why it's been freezing today.
It's okay. It's okay.
Nobody else is going to see that. So that's good. So, Mandee, tell us about your week. What's going on?
Oh, just, good times here in the wet sock in which I live. We had a break. We did have a break in the humidity a little bit, and can remind you why you choose to live on the surface of the sun. So that's good. It renews your will to continue on. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of my friends have dropped their kids off at school, which is exciting. Three of my pledge sisters have kids at Mercer, which is so fun.
Love it.
Two of my other pledge sisters, their sons are rooming together at Ole Miss, like one's from Augusta, one's from Macon, but their moms are roommates and now they're roommates, which is so cute. I love that.
I love it.
But all of that has led me to wonder. And listen, I say this without judgment. This is a genuine question. At what point do we quit posting pictures of what our children are doing?
So,
and I'll tell you, let me give you
apparently it's not 46 because my parents still do
it. Listen, this is what really I have a friend who has said like if you're there and you're doing something with your kid and your kid's in the next, okay, that makes sense. Like, here's the dorm room. That's great. And I love seeing all these dorm rooms, by the way, which hello.
Well, I'm gonna send you some people to follow on Instagram because they're like
stars. Could y'all come do my room, please?
Right.
But I have a friend who would share pictures from her daughter's sorority mixers. And that just, I have to wonder. But what really, listen, Kate, this is the one that really put me over the top this week. Was a friend who her timeline had just been full of pictures of her daughter's beautiful wedding. Like, a month ago. Beautiful wedding. And then she shared a picture of her daughter's first day of school.
Like as a teacher?
No, she's a junior in college. I'm sorry. I have to draw the line there.
I mean, I wish there was a cutoff.
I'm going to say, if you had most recently shared pictures of their wedding, you cannot then share their first day of school picture. I'm sorry.
Well, and wow. I mean,
Listen, I almost did it this morning. My nephew is the captain of his crew team, co-captain
yeah,
of his crew team, and they posted that on Instagram, and I almost shared it to my stories this morning. I would have, but I had already shared it back in the fall. So I really am not judging. I'm just saying
I
this is
am. I think
something
I am.
we need to think about.
I'm judging. For a lot of reasons. I'm judging. Not you necessarily. I feel like if it's high school stuff, they still live under your roof. They're still your kids
Yep,
to be proud of. But if
yep.
you're married, it's time to move on. And here's my thought on the whole thing is that sure you can be proud of your kid till they die. I love that. I love that.
And
However,
beyond. And beyond.
it's time for you to find some things to do for yourself. Like, tell me what your life is like. Your kid can post for themselves once they're married or older and out of college. If they want the world to know, they'll post about it. But
Or
why
maybe
don't you
anyway.
share what you're doing? And if you're not doing anything, then maybe you should find something.
Also, the whole change in bid day has really got me thinking. Like when we had a friend of mine and I were talking about it actually just yesterday. Like when we had bid day, we got our little jersey, we
Mhm,
ran around all the fraternity houses and
mhm,
did our
mhm.
cheer, and then we went to like an alumni's house and had a
Yep.
barbecue, and then the next night we had our bid night party or whatever. I'm here to tell you, if my mama had been at my bid day,
Oh,
I probably would have gone home with her because they gave us the ugliest pink Pepto-Bismol pink t-shirt
my
that had
color's a blush and
that
pale.
had stick figures on the back
Oh, stop.
that said, "You'd smile too if you were a new FAMU," and
Wait.
told me I had to wear it to school the next day. And listen, I didn't have time to wash it, which means I broke out in hives from
Yep.
wearing it. And also, I was really trying to pull my weight with in my great books classes to show these people that I was not just some
I was
silly little
serious.
preppy child. And then I
Right.
had to show up in my "You'd Smile Too" if you were a new FAMU shirt, and I really lost a lot of credibility. So I may have gone home with my mama had she
Yeah.
been at my bed day.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know. It's just a different generation.
It is very different,
Very, very
and I
different.
think it's fun. I love seeing people with their daughters at their bid day. That's great. I just
I know.
wonder how I would have handled it.
I, well, parents are very different these days. We'll just go with that.
So anyway,
Love it.
that's sort of my thoughts.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
Yeah.
you want to go? Do you want me to do my baseball
Do your
story?
baseball story. That'll be a great way to start our
Baseball.
find your sports section.
Okay. So, for those of you who didn't hear last week, I'm gonna try to do a baseball story of the week to get you all interested in baseball because it's all about the stories.
All about
Um,
sports.
So this week I chose a Brave, an Atlanta Brave, which has been my team since approximately 1982. Ask me the starting lineup, I can tell you from
Mhm.
1982. Claudell Washington, what's up? So
What?
today
I love
we're
it.
doing Michael Harris the second,
Mhm.
who was called up by the Braves last year. He is an Atlanta native, graduated from Stockbridge High School.
Look at that.
His mom is a special education teacher in the Fulton County school system.
We love
I
teachers.
believe his daddy either drove a bus or like a trash truck, like it was something that he had to be up really early in the morning to do.
Mhm.
Because so Michael got drafted in 2019, and he the Braves were the like one team who told him they wanted him to just be a position player. He was also an excellent pitcher, and most
Mm.
everybody else was looking at him to be a pitcher, but the Braves said, "No, we want you to be a position player." So he got drafted in 2019, and then in 2020 there was no minor league baseball season because of COVID. So the poor kid didn't get to play at all in 2020.
That may nasty
Um,
COVID.
but cranked back up in 2021. When the Braves won the World Series in 2021, he was in the stands watching. And then fast forward, what, that was in October. Fast forward to the next May, and he's playing for the Braves. So he went from the AA Mississippi Braves to getting called up. He won the National League Rookie of the Year award last year. He just played with his pants on fire. He was amazing and just a great kid. When Jackson was having its water crisis, remember when Jackson, Mississippi ran out of water?
Yes.
He donated $23,000. His number's 23.
Stop.
And this was, I think this was right. I can't remember if this was before or after. The Braves did sign him to a long-term contract after he'd been playing for like a couple of months with them. So he did get some money. It's not a huge contract, but it's a good contract. But I want to say this was even before he had signed that contract. He donated $23,000 to Jackson to help with the water crisis.
Love it.
And he has already started his own foundation. It's called Catch 23. And it's, so he's already working on his philanthropy arm. He's just a great kid. And I was watching last night, they had a bobblehead night for him last night, and the bobblehead is him holding his Rookie of the Year award. And I was watching an interview. You can find it on Bally Sports South on their Instagram page. It's Kelly Kroll interviewing him. And she hands him his bobblehead. He sees the bobblehead for the first time. And his reaction, y'all, was just priceless. He was so excited.
Definitely gonna
and
have
he's
to do
just
that.
he's like just even keeled. He's really cool, but he's really funny. And so when you can get, when you see those glimpses of it come out, it's really fun. And he had some injuries at the beginning of this year, and had a slow start, but he's back to playing in his regular form, and he is just a joy to watch. So I would encourage y'all to, the next time you got a Braves game on, he plays center field. And he typically bats towards the end of the lineup. So he typically bats ninth, but Ozzy Albies is hurt right now. And so they had moved him up in the order. But he's usually batting around Acuna, unless it's the first inning. So he's usually like right before Acuna. Right now he's batting second, so he's right after Acuna. So everybody makes a big deal about Acuna, so you'll be aware that Michael Harris II's coming up when you see Acuna, unless it's the first inning.
So I have a question about Acuna. Are you done with Michael? Are we done?
Yeah.
I can't wait to go find that Instagram story.
Yeah, you got to see that story.
Maybe if I can figure it out, or if you can remember, we can post it on our Instagram page.
Yes, I will do that.
Find Your People pod. Look at us being all fancy. Acuna. So I turned on the Braves briefly the other day between games for Little League, and the umpires were having a power about his glove, but I never saw the conclusion of that. Was it pine tar? Did he pine tar that glove up? Was it sticky?
Apparently there's some kind of spray.
There is a stickum spray.
And I think maybe he had sprayed that on his glove, which is not illegal.
It's not.
No. Apparently they do it all the time.
Yeah, I was about to say they use stickum in just about every sport. They use it in football to make the balls catchable. I don't know.
Or it may have been pine tar. I can't remember. But yeah, like whatever it was he had on there, it was not illegal. So there's more to that, because it's always about the story. So that was the first game against the Giants, and the Giants manager had been suspended for a game, so he wasn't there that night. So it was the Giants who pointed out to the umpires that Acuna's glove was really shiny.
Yeah.
And so that really kind of ticked the Braves off. So the next night, Walt Weiss, who is our bench coach, I think, he's the one that took out, before every game, for those of you who don't know, before every game, they go to home plate and they exchange lineup cards. And so Walt Weiss was the one taking the lineup card, and apparently he let him have it during the lineup card exchange. I haven't seen video of it, but lots of people were talking about it. And then, so that was before the second game. And then the third game, it was just really weird. The guy who is the manager for the Giants is a guy named Gabe Kapler. And he's exactly who you would think would be the manager for a San Francisco team. Like he totally looks like a tech bro. He doesn't wear the full uniform. He always wears like a short sleeve hoodie, which is that's a piece of clothing I don't understand,
Yeah.
especially in Atlanta in
Yeah.
August.
Yeah.
But he's got these square black glasses and like he totally looks like a tech bro. And the weirdest thing is every time he would go out to the mound, his little, I guess it's his bench coach, who looks like his doppelganger, would go out with him. So every time they went out, it was the two of them going out. It was the craziest thing. And finally Snicker was like, what are we
What's
doing?
up? Yeah, what are we
And then
doing?
they had to fix the mound, their pitcher like slipped or something. So we had to spend a bunch of time fixing them. It was just it was weird. It was
Yeah,
weird. So that whole series was just sort of a
that was a
weird,
yeah. I
weird.
wondered about that because I kind of came in the middle of it and I was like, oh, I'll ask Mandee about it on Wednesday. Love it.
You know, I know.
Love it. Love it.
Aw.
So I guess I'll start by I'm watching the Little League World Series. If you are not watching it, the stories are fantastic. This is the first time a Cuba team has been invited. They've expanded, and there's going to be a rotation of and I don't fully understand it. I need to look it up, the details of it, but Cuba is in the rotation to fill the last non-America world inside spot. And so these
Because
little
the Little League World Series is the world against America.
America. Yeah. And so at the end, we'll have one team from America and one team from somewhere else. And when we started, I kind of guessed it would be Texas, remember, because they've got those 3 lefty pitchers and they're on fire. They're on fire. And I said Japan, but I'm changing.
Okay.
Because this Chinese Taipei team, like right now, they're playing Curacao, which is no joke. Curaçao's a really good team.
Home of Ozzy.
Yeah, exactly. Top of the 5th, they're beating them 7-1, and they've got the bases loaded.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've 10-run ruled several teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look out. Chinese Taipei, here they come.
Here they come. So I'm really excited. Texas has played really well. Last night, Rhode Island got eliminated. And this is really why I love this little series every summer, is because the coach went out there and he said, guys, there is nothing to be ashamed of. You are one of the top 5 teams in this country and one of the top 10 teams in the world. So hold your heads high. Let's have the last half inning be the best one we've ever played and have fun.
Bless their little hearts.
That is exactly. They ended up still losing. They scored a couple runs in the bottom of the 6th, but when they lost, they were still so excited. They were smiling and laughing. Of course, some of them were, disappointed in their performances. The little pitcher was a little upset, but they, it's the coaches being so positive and lovely, and these children just are living their best lives. And so that's part of just why I love it.
Did we talk last week about the ESPN Daily podcast? I think it was on ESPN Daily that had gone back and revisited that moment last year where the pitcher hit a kid in the head.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then was so like, and the batter was fine. He went to first base, but the pitcher was still so shaken up. Devastated. That the kid went to the mound and gave him a hug.
Yeah. God, and now they're like best friends.
Yeah.
From different parts of the country, but they, they're good friends. They spent most of the last tournament doing interviews about that moment.
Right.
And I think because they spent so much extra time together, they became good friends.
Yeah. That was so sweet.
Which is,
and then did you watch the Phillies and Nationals game on Sunday?
Did I? Did you watch the Phillies go to the Philadelphia to the Pennsylvania team's game?
I shared that on our Find Your People.
I thought so. Yeah. So if you missed it, the Philadelphia Phillies were playing in the Little League World Series, and the team that's from Pennsylvania that's in the Little League World Series is not
Media.
far from that stadium. And so they were so excited. Those guys were just thrilled.
It was
so
Bryce
sweet.
Harper and
Bryce Harper
Trey
could not
Turner.
get enough.
Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber were the Phillies sitting in the stands. Just Bryce Harper's like, I got chill bumps when the kid got a hit. I mean, it was
Amazing.
so
I
awesome.
know. I know.
And the other thing I loved about the Phillies Nationals game was all the fun bats that the major league players had. Like Bryson Stott had one that looks like a number 2 pencil.
Yes.
Bryce Harper had one that had the Philadelphia Philly, like their mascot on it.
Yes.
Like, and then I also saw today that Nick Castellanos from the Phillies, he had his custom bat that he used.
Mm-hmm.
He had those one made for each of the boys, I think on that media team, that team from Philly.
Love it.
And it sent those to him.
Isn't that cool?
So
That's
fun.
why it's just such a great little thing. And it gets me through the summer and ready for football. Because it is really about the stories and it's about these kids. And the other thing I like that I'm coming around to, because we now have that pitch clock, is that it's only 6 innings and
Yeah.
the games go really fast, which is different than major league games used to be. So you can watch 4 games in an afternoon, and you
Yep.
cannot do that in the major league.
God, no.
No.
You can't. Although it is a lot faster.
Yes. It is. It is. Definitely. So now it's 9-1. So that, I mean, I'm telling you, this Chinese Taipei team,
Look out, y'all. Katie's calling it.
look out, look out. Because football season is coming up, the next thing I was gonna talk to y'all about, and see, Mandee, if you had been following this at all, is our new coach at Auburn is Hugh Freeze. And I'm coming around to Hugh Freeze.
Is he new this year?
This is his first year.
Okay.
I was really concerned. We'll get into that for a second. So last season, we fired who some like to call the potato because he was from Idaho, Brian Harsin, mid-season.
Never heard of him.
He was from Idaho. That's where he coached, was Idaho, and he was very successful there on that blue field. But it is a long hop, jump, and a skip from Idaho to the SEC. I don't even know what conference Idaho's in. Anyway, big something. And so he was not very successful for a lot of reasons. But Potato got the can with several games left. And
he got mashed.
He did get mashed. One of his assistants, the one thing he did do right was he hired an Auburn man, because he was not, as one of his assistants. And it was the running back, the very famous running back.
Oh, okay. Now I do remember the end. Like I remember
Yes.
seeing him being very excited on the sidelines.
Yeah, so Cadillac Williams.
Yes,
Cadillac got that nickname when he was little because he could run fast. Well, he still can, because when he got excited on the sidelines, he would run faster than the running back to go get in the end zone.
Yes, I do remember watching that. That was fun.
Precious. He has the cutest little family, these sweet little boys. He was so excited. He was the first Black coach for Auburn. He was a great recruiter, just a godly man. He was just upstanding. He was never going to do what these other men that have preceded him have done.
Hugh Freeze was at Ole Miss, right?
Hugh Freeze was at Ole Miss. Okay. And I say all that about Cadillac for 2 reasons. First, because he's a precious angel that should be protected in this world. And second, because as an Auburn fan, a lifelong Auburn fan, and I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, with all the terrible seasons that we have had, I would have been thrilled with Cadillac as our head coach this year.
I don't think you were alone in that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been thrilled. He didn't have the coaching experience to jump to SEC head coach. He will eventually. I would have been thrilled with a losing season with Cadillac Williams as our coach.
Yeah.
He renews my excitement and faith in Auburn football. Fortunately, Hugh Freeze kept him on because he's so smart. But Hugh Freeze, while he was at Ole Miss, had a little issue and got released from his contract because he was super smart and was looking for escort services on his work computer.
Listen,
I mean, so the meme, my favorite quote that I say it all the time still was that we went from Cadillacs to escorts.
not the way you want to move. Brent.
No. And look, do I believe in redemption? Yes. Do I think he went to Liberty University, one of the most conservative? If for a reason, yes, I think he did that on purpose. I think he went there to rehabilitate his little self.
Isn't that
However,
where
yeah, Liberty.
isn't that where
Yeah,
the son of the preacher who also used to, there's a documentary about it?
yes.
Okay, sorry. Anyway,
Yep. So
continue.
that's where he coached football. Is he a great coach? Yes. Is he a great recruiter? Yes. Here's why I'm still not totally unfrozen and still lukewarm about Hugh Freeze. Is I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. How
Yep.
long are you gonna last until you need an escort?
Listen, as
I
a
hope he's
graduate,
rehabilitated. I hope his wife has not stayed for nothing, but
as a graduate of Colquitt County High School,
oh yeah.
where they hired old oh gosh, what's his name? The guy that was the coach of Hoover High School in
Yep.
Birmingham.
Yep.
And they did 2-a-days. And then after all that
I
came
don't
out,
remember the
it
guy's
turns
name.
out he had a whole nother family
Yep.
on the side, and my high school hired him in spite of that. And as Diana May Hall, the choir director at Hoover High School, told my dad, he can take that. See those chairs, see those folding chairs sitting there? He can take them and make them into a winning football team, but he is
Yeah.
not a good person.
Right.
And hey, oh, guess what?
Yeah.
Guess who got fired
Yeah.
after he won us several state championships?
And that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
That
So,
we're going
I
to be
feel
right
ya.
back where we were. I mean, there have been rumors for years. I'm not that anybody of any substance listens to this that would sue me, but there have been rumors for years about several of our fairly recent head coaches doing the exact same thing.
Right.
And they are no longer there. So I don't know. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Do I like him? Yeah. Do I think he's going to be great? Yes.
Rush Probst.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. There we go. Probst. Yep. I remember that story. So I'm really excited. What it took me a minute to realize all this stuff about flipping recruits and so and so's coming and they got a 5-star and we took him away from Alabama, Georgia, whatever.
The transfer portal.
That's for next year. That's not for this year. So
Okay.
this year may stink too.
Okay.
We'll
well,
see.
Listen, I
We'll
wish
just see.
y'all luck.
Thank you. We do have a starting quarterback instead of 3, so that
Okay,
gives me a
good.
little bit of hope.
That's good.
Yep. The
Um,
other thing that I think you will have more of opinion on, because you will maybe have seen this nonsense, is Lane Kiffin dressing up in pink and singing all the Ken songs on social media. Speaking of Ole Miss, I mean, I'll try to find it and put it on our Instagram as well. It's a video of him in a golf cart going from one place on the field to another, in a pink shirt, singing "I'm Just Ken," which I'm sure was his 25-year-old new girlfriend's idea, not his.
I can't say that it, based on what I know about Lane Kiffin and having seen the Barbie movie, I can't really say that I disagree with that characterization.
Right. Totally it's a little too on the nose.
Is. Little on the nose. Little on the nose.
It's on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I will tell you that grew up a big SEC football fan.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was a Georgia fan. My dad was an Alabama fan.
Oh,
so
how does that work? Not well.
Well, and then when lived in Birmingham, my aunt and uncle lived there, and my aunt was an Auburn fan. So listen, it was real interesting around our
Yeah.
house.
Yep.
But and then my sister went to Vanderbilt, which we get real excited when Vanderbilt wins a game. Although they've been doing better recently.
Look,
Um,
I'm here for it.
but so I'm just sort of, I don't know if agnostic is the right term for how I feel about college football. Like
Right.
I'm just glad for everybody to not end up with a traumatic brain injury,
Sure.
and I get to eat my sausage rotel dip.
Look, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely doing a big breakfast for the first college game day, which is not this Saturday, but the next.
Okay.
Talk about stories. That's why I watch college game day. It's
Exactly.
for the
Lord.
stories. I cry at least once.
There's still that one where they did at the woman who put her head on the chest of the man who got her kid's heart
Oh
in the
my,
heart transplant. Like
right.
that one. I'll never recover from that one.
Last year, the big one was one of maybe it was Ohio State. Somebody that was red, Wisconsin, maybe Nebraska. I mean, not Wisconsin. I think it was Ohio. Anyway, one of the players, his sister died of leukemia, and they showed that sweet baby girl without hair, and I just wept 1,000 tears. Like for weeks, they showed that same.
Right. They like to push that button
Yep.
once they find it.
Yep. So I'm sure during football we're gonna have I'm gonna have a lot to say about Vern. No, Vern is retired. Gary Danielson. I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot to say about that. But that'll be fun later on. I can complain about all that, but I'm really excited. It makes
Good.
the fall so fun.
Good.
And
Good. I'm
now that I'm
excited
watching
for you.
baseball, there'll be plenty to
Right?
do.
Golly. Yeah, so the Cubs are now my secondary team since
Right.
Dansby got traded.
Yeah.
We have loved Dansby since his Vanderbilt days. Um,
How
and
are they doing?
they were not doing well. They went through a real bad period right before the All-Star break, but they have come back and they are now in the wild card race. Like they might make it to October baseball. Listen, this is
I love
exciting.
that.
The
This
Braves
is
are like in October baseball.
very
So we're
exciting.
not worried about that. So it's been fun to have somebody to watch that's on the edge. So
I love it. I love
keep
it.
on keeping on, Cubbies.
Did
So
you
talk to
see?
me. Oh wait, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, did you see the two teams that are going to play in the Little League World Series Major League game next year?
The Yankees
Mhm.
and Detroit.
And the Detroit Tigers. Yeah. So
That's who's playing the Cubs right now.
yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about your cemetery work because
Well,
I've been waiting to hear this one.
the show notes says cemetery work. Why do I commune with the dead so much? So about 20 years ago, Gogi called me, my grandmother Gogi called a good FAMU, by the way. You're not just a FAMU, you're a good FAMU. So
Loving our bond.
yep, a good FAMU Gogi called me. She said, I need you to come with me to the cemetery. I said, okay, I thought I was gonna help her.
Rose Hill.
Yeah, no, we're Riverside. We're not cool enough to be, we're not that old.
I
We're
thought you might be going to see Mary and Martha.
no, well, they're in Riverside and I pass them
Oh,
every
okay.
time. Yep, I pass
Okay.
them every time and say love and our bond. So Gogi called me, said, let's go. I thought I was going to like trim bushes and stuff. Oh, no. We get there, and Gloria McAfee Wynn says to me, Katie, I'm just going to tell you right now, when I die, you're in charge of the cemetery. This was a long time ago. I said, Gogi, you're going to live forever. I really, truly believe she was. She was this matriarch, this strong-willed, beautiful woman who anyway, but as everything does, life happened. And so when she passed away, I thought, oh gosh, now I have to take care of the cemetery. So she told me where everybody was that day. She told me when to put the wreaths out for Christmas, what to do. Because my granddaddy has a flag on his. He's the only one with anything extra because we don't do extra. We're very regimented and very proper. No fake flowers.
Huh? No fake flowers.
No fake flowers. No fake. She really didn't want any flowers, but no fake flowers because people leave them and then they look
Oh,
terrible.
do look. This is
So
true.
anytime I put anything out there, I always make sure I take it back before it looks bad. Anyway, so she showed me all this. I'm like, you're going to live forever. I'm never going to remember all this. She goes, yeah, you will. So when she passed away, of course,
Fast
I went,
forward.
great. So when we took when we divided everything up, took our house apart, which is a whole nother anyway.
Trauma.
I got one of the first things I got was the cemetery wreaths. So they're currently in my basement. It's the only thing she ever asked me to do. So, because she had been so much older and couldn't really take care of the cemetery like she had, it was really overgrown and stuff. So now, it's not terrible and I don't mind doing it. And I would do it 1,000 times over, but I pay somebody
Atta girl.
to
Well, you're
make.
not there anymore either.
Well, and look, it's Macon. And Riverside Cemetery is now going to contract not with a private company to cut everything, but with the city. So it's never going to get done.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm just paying somebody to do it, which is great. He does a great job. If you're listening, you're from Macon and you want some information, I'm your girl. He did a beautiful job. It was very Gogi. It would have been Gogi approved. But when I did that, I thought, I mean, if I'm doing these, because it's okay, it's a lot of people. It's not just my grandparents, it's my grandparents. And then this is where we should do a whole thing on my family tree because it doesn't branch a lot. So 3 sisters married 3 brothers.
Oh.
That was my great grandmother and great grandfather, and 2 of her siblings married 3 Montgomery sisters, 3 McAfee brothers. So it's my grandparents and then their Gogi's parents
Siblings.
and all of those plus the Fortson sister, which is a McAfee. So I got this whole row. I thought, well, if I'm gonna do all this, and I'll post some pictures so you can see the fun. If I'm gonna do all those, I might as well just do everybody. So the rest of my family is across the intrastate, which you will know what that means. It's over by the Acme Paint Company.
Yep.
And so it's Morris's parents, Morris's sister, and my dad's parents. So there are 3 over there. So when
Okay.
I put cemetery wreaths out, I do all of those.
So talk to me about, so I know like I remember my grandmother, my mother's mother grew up in North Alabama, Phil Campbell, Alabama.
Love
And
it.
I can remember, and Jason Isbell wrote a song about it, Decoration Day,
Yep.
which was like Memorial Day.
Yes.
I can remember going to do that like maybe once in my life that we went to Phil Campbell for Decoration Day.
Right.
So when do you put these wreaths out? At Christmas?
Well, so my rhythm of the cemetery is a little different than that. So I make sure Mars has a new flag. I keep some in my car. So anytime I go to Macon, I whip through the cemetery, see if the rain has gotten the flag where it's not appropriate and change it out. But I
Okay.
always make sure he has one for July 4th because that's when he was shot down. And so he always has a new flag out for that.
Did he die on July 4th or did he survive?
He survived.
Okay, good.
So it was actually July 3rd he was shot down. He was captured July 4th. That's a whole,
Okay.
we'll tell
put a
that
pin
story
in
one day.
that. We'll come back to that.
Really, really good story. So then I put the Christmas wreaths out. These are Christmas wreaths, ma'am. Christmas
Okay.
wreaths.
So
With
we have
those from Davis
wreaths.
Wholesale Florist.
Yes, of course.
Cemetery wreaths with Christmas bows.
Okay. But so talk to me about what a cemetery wreath is. Is this
So
a designated thing?
well, yes, because you can go, okay. So if you're from Macon, you're either a Hornbuckles girl or a Davis girl, right? And I'm a Davis Wholesale Florist girl. And they sell anytime you give flowers at a funeral, they'll put them on a stand, right?
Right.
So he sells those stands.
Okay.
And so I get Christmas wreaths, small Christmas wreaths, and put them on those cemetery
Stand.
tripod metal stands. I
Right.
put them in the ground and then I put a red bow on. And so,
But the only time these wreaths are out are around Christmas.
yes, they go
Okay.
up after Thanksgiving and they come
Okay.
down on my, now I have to do it on my way out of town. And people have offered to do it for me, and that's very sweet. But that is literally the only thing my grandmother ever asked me to do.
Got
And
it.
so I take it that very seriously. And so I do it myself. So they're in the basement right now, anxiously awaiting Thanksgiving. So the other day I was like, there is another, my people are not from Macon. We're not in Rose Hill. My people are in Milledgeville. So the next time I go to Milledgeville, I'm going to bring those relatives into the fold.
Katie,
Well, I mean, if
I'm
you're going to do
overwhelmed
it,
by your dedication.
well, if you're going to do it, I'm probably not going to do wreaths for them, but I at least need to get the headstones cleaned. Because I promise you, it's been more than 25 years since they've done that, and it's not expensive. You only do it every 20 or so years. It's not a big deal, but like I need to at least go find, because one of them's my namesake, one of them's Catherine Rogers, and so I need to go because Gogi did it. I need to make sure I'm bringing them into the fold.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's,
some of them didn't have children, so there's nobody else to take care of them.
oh, I'm real impressed.
I don't know
And
if it's impressive or crazy.
no, I'm real impressed, and I'm real glad my mama wants to be cremated.
Yeah, yeah,
But
same.
so the last time, so my grandparents are buried in Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
and I mean they bought their headstones, I think when I was in middle school, and then
Mm,
neither one of them died. Like Papa died, like I had graduated from law school. I was in my 30s before both my grandparents died, so those headstones had been out there for a long time.
yep.
But now we never get back to Fitzgerald because it's not like you go to Fitzgerald for anything other than to see Nanny and Papa.
Yep.
Um, but so I did have to go probably 3 years ago, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I had to go anyway. Long story, dealing with the title to my grandmother's car, and so I actually had to go to Fitzgerald to the office there, and I
Yep.
stopped by the cemetery just on my way out of town, and the fake flowers that were in there looked awful, so I did pull those out.
Yep.
I didn't put any more in there. And also, Katie, when I was standing at the foot of my grandmother's grave, all of a sudden my foot like
Mm,
fell in and there was like a hole. And I was pretty sure Nanny was trying to grab me to bring me
yep.
down in there with her because trust me, that is something she would do.
Yeah.
But did I follow up on that? No, I did not. Nor have we done anything since then. So I'm real impressed with your dedication
Well,
to
look,
this
so
endeavor.
the I guess it's the upside. The benefit to this that Gogi told me and told the rest of the family and bequeathed to me is that there is a plot that is vacant that I will be
That
buried
you're
in.
gonna have. So do you
Yeah,
want to be buried? You don't want to be cremated?
I do, but I don't know.
Well,
That's
you
a
can be
whole look.
cremated and
We
then
can talk
buried.
about my estate. It's a whole thing, being,
We need
what
to.
Gogi said to me was, you're single. When you die, you can have the one spot that's left.
Gotcha. It's one of
Thanks,
those.
God.
It's one of
Thanks.
those.
Yep. But I don't know. There's something about, I've been thinking a lot about legacy lately. So there's something about having a headstone that
Well,
I think I would want, but you don't actually have to put me in the ground.
so my mom has always said she wanted to be cremated. And then when I was a sophomore, the summer after my sophomore year in college, my high school boyfriend, we had been broken up for about a year. He was killed in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
And that summer, I would go to the cemetery every afternoon. And after my mom saw that, she was like, I don't know. I saw how much that helped you
Yeah.
grieve,
Yeah.
that I'm really sort of rethinking. Like, I feel like maybe you'll need a place to go. And I was like, I'll be fine, Mama. You
I'll be fine.
get cremated. I'll just carry you with me. It'll be
And
fine.
it's more for my own peace of mind than anything else in this world. It has nothing to do with anybody. Like my nephew's not gonna care, and my niece
Right.
don't care. But I don't know. It's just something about having your name somewhere
Yeah.
permanent. I don't know. But
Okay.
again, I'm gonna be with Jesus. I'm not gonna care. They can do whatever the heck they want.
The
But I just thought it was interesting that it was so important to Gogi, and I think it was a generational thing that
Yeah.
she was willing to give one of the very few family plots that were left to me in exchange for taking care of the
You
cemetery
putting up the
before I
wreath.
die.
Well, listen, if I survive you, I'll make sure your wreath is tip top
Love that.
from post Thanksgiving to New Year's. You can count on me if I'm alive.
Well, I think we're gonna be in the nursing home together, so I mean,
I've
we
been
might not
working
have
for
to do that.
years with a couple of friends on our cocktail recipe book that we're going to be served when, our Golden Girls
Look,
cocktail recipe book. So
my
listen, I feel sure
dream
you can make some
and
contributions to that.
honey, I got one called the seminarian.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
My dream is because even my friends that are married are gonna outlive their husbands. I can already tell. Is like to buy a piece of property somewhere with a lake on it, and all of us have little tiny houses all around, and we just come out and or go to each other's houses or have like a communal space when it gets hot where we can go and just have adult beverages and laugh at each other.
I like it. Sign me up.
Yep, let's do it.
Sign me up, friend.
So that's my week and my thoughts on life these days.
Well, good. I love
I
it.
got some pictures of the cemetery and I thought, I bet Mandee would love, Miss Estate Planner would love to know what my job in the family is
Listen,
to deal with the cemetery. So there
okay,
we go.
you got me singing Decoration Day.
I know, right? I know.
Luckily for y'all, I'm singing it in my head and not out loud.
Well, you can sing better
Um,
than I can. So there we go.
um,
I'm super excited about your favorites. I'm taking these show notes. There's one of them I'm gonna deal with right now. So you
okay,
go
do
ahead and
it.
start, and then I can't wait to hear all about it.
Speaking of, sorry, we just had a 3-run home run by the Detroit. Oh, 4-run. It was a grand slam. Oh
Oh
no.
no! Oh
Tie
no!
game, bottom of the 6th. Sorry. Speaking of adult beverages, I've been doing Whole30. So I have not been able to partake in any adult beverages. So I've been drinking a lot of kombucha, which even though it has some technically has like alcohol in it because it's fermented.
Right?
It's still 30A approved, and I found one that is quite delightful. It's made by Healthade, not Healthcare. Health dash aid,
Okay.
ADE, like lemonade, but it's Healthade,
Okay.
and it is the mint limeade flavor.
Where
And
can you purchase it like Publix and stuff?
yes, yeah, I got this at Whole Foods. But
Okay.
I think they do sell Healthade at Publix.
Okay.
Or may have gotten it in my Walmart delivery because listen, I love a good Walmart delivery. So it may have
Love it.
been that even. But I will tell you that my first thought upon taking a sip of it was this would be delightful with some
Yep.
rum.
I
I
saw mint
myself
and lime, and I was like,
add a little rum, we're good to go. So if you kind of want a shortcut mojito, and then you can tell yourself you're also getting the health benefits of some fermentation, get you some Healthade mint limeade kombucha.
I'm really excited. You're not the first person in my world to kombucha, and I have, I'm not really a fad kind of girl, but I think that this is good. It's good for you, right? It does all the good things.
It's got all like all those health benefits of fermented. So it's like I think it's supposed to help with like gut health and all that. I really almost exclusively drink it when I'm doing Whole30, but I like it when I'm drinking it.
I'm definitely gonna try that.
And then this one, while I'm doing Whole30, I've been mixing it because it's a little strong on its own, but I mix it with just a lime sparkling water.
Okay.
And it's delicious. So I recommend that. Another thing that is my favorite is there's a Twitter account at Kenzie, which is KENZI, and it's Kenzie an Idiot. So KENZIANIDIOT. Okay.
And I'll put that in the show notes too, definitely.
That's the girl's Twitter account. And she started, I can't remember now, maybe back in, I can't remember if it was this December or the December before. Her dad he meets his friends at a bar every Friday. But before he goes, he prepares a list of discussion topics for his friends while they're at their happy hour on Friday. So it was in December of 2022 is when she first started sharing it. And he literally, like, he types it up. It says 12/1/2022 agenda.
Kind of like
And
our
then,
show notes.
and then on this list was Jordan Love, World Cup, China and Russia, after Christmas party with the boys, and general discussion. And so every week she shares her dad's list, and the fact that this man like sits down before he goes to meet with his boys. Here's one, the most recent one: field trip up north fishing, zoo a la carte, grass recovery after recent rains, Brewers run support, natural gas leak, attending our children's friends' weddings, age and sore body parts, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Same.
Be careful out there, boys. See you soon. It is just the most delightful.
I love it.
The fact that she shares it is great, but the fact that he is like coming up with this agenda every week just delights me to no
I love
end.
it.
So that brought me some joy this week. Brent Cobb. Do you know Brent Cobb?
Do I know Brent Cobb? I did not. That's the one I have already gone online and added it to my Apple Music.
So Brent Cobb is a good South Georgia boy.
He is fantastic. I love his music.
His daddy sings.
Okay.
But his real job is, making money job. I can't remember if he's an electrician or a carpenter, but like he helped my friend Lee. She was redoing her kitchen, and she lives in Americus. And Brent Cobb's daddy was the one I'm like doing. So like, oh yeah, and apparently he sang. I think Daddy's still like he still has a band, and like he sings at Booger Bottom at Lake Blackshear. But so like Brent's just good salt of the earth South Georgia boy. And his favorite album of mine so far has
I
been
love that we just breezed right on past Booger Bottom.
Booger Bottom.
So all of you non-South Georgia people that are listening to this podcast, that's a real place.
It's a
Booger Bottom.
It's basically like a dive bar, but they have good burgers too, and it's on Lake Blackshear.
Great burgers.
You can boat up or you can drive up. It's great. But yeah, so my favorite album has probably been Providence Canyon.
That's a good
Have you
one.
ever been to Providence Canyon?
Mm-mm.
Nor have I. How has that been the case?
We should
We
start a list.
Right. We need to go to Providence Canyon.
We do.
But on that album, there's a song called Providence Canyon. There's a song, Ain't a Road Too Long. A song, Come Home Soon. It's like, never thought I'd be so far from Georgia. It's one of the lines in the song. But like, I love Brent Cobb. But he's been making the rounds this past week because he's got a new album coming out, and he did the silliest little video. And lots of people have been all about it. Hold on, I can't remember the name of the song.
There's one song. No, there are 3 songs already out on Apple. If you've got iTunes.
Yeah.
Southern Star, Patina, and When Country Came something around.
When Country Came Back, I think is what it is.
Okay.
And again, y'all should look at his Instagram. He dresses up like an old man with long gray hair, and he has on a Mel Tillis trucker cap, and he's like reading, quote unquote, reading a story to his kids, but he name drops all these great country artists, new country artists.
Yeah.
And not like Florida Georgia Line country artists, but like Sturgill and Jason, Sturgill. Like those guys.
Yeah.
In this song. And so he's been getting a lot of traction with that. It's not my favorite song of those 3 that I've listened to. Like it's fine and it's cute, but I love Brent Cobb and I really like his music. So yes. I would highly recommend that folks check him out. His cousin is Dave Cobb, who is the super producer who's produced like Chris Stapleton albums and Jason Isbell albums and that Sturgill album that had all the brass in it. So
that was
yeah,
so different and so great. I love it.
And Dave grew up in Savannah, so they're both good Georgia boys.
Love it.
And actually, there's a podcast episode. I'll see if I can find it so you can link that too, where Dave interviews Brent and they talk about their childhood, which is really fun. So, and then sort of the last thing that was sort of my favorite this week is friends offering to help. So I am currently administering an estate that is a goat rodeo, and one of the things I have to deal with are 3 storage units that are chock full. Like I opened the door and couldn't walk in any of them because they are so full.
Wow.
And that is so not in my wheelhouse.
Right.
And I had 2 separate friends who were both like, "Oh my gosh, I'll help you." And I was like, "What?
That is not necessary, right?
Right? Like I would never, like, it's like, no, but they were both dead serious. And just the fact that they don't hate it helps. But the fact that they still are just like immediately offering, and it reminds me, my friend and former boss, Leah, told me once, she's like, you know what? We all need at least one friend who, it doesn't matter, when you call and say, I need a favor, before you even ask what it is, they say yes.
Yep, absolutely.
And she said, so you need to be that kind of friend too, because you know what they say, you have to be a friend to have a friend.
Have a friend.
And that also reminded me, my friend Lane, I asked her to help me witness some wills one time, and her response was, thank you for thinking of me.
Oh, so, I've gone to nursing homes with my friend Julie Magda, who I'm sure you know.
Jill, yeah.
To witness signatures
wills,
on wills.
But how about that? When somebody asks you to do something for them, your response is, thank you for thinking of me.
I love that.
Listen, for people like me, I don't know if there's a meme going on right now that it's like something about asking for help, and it's a guy who's got the front part of a sofa on a rolling desk chair and he's holding the back. And if that doesn't personify Mandee Caldwell, I don't know what does. I hate to ask for help. So the fact that somebody would respond to me asking with, thank you for thinking of me.
You so much. I know.
So anyway, those are my favorite things.
I love that. That is so true. So true.
Yeah. Makes it easier for people to ask for help when that's how you approach.
It reminds me of something we said offline last week that I have been thinking about all week. That being a single girl at our age, we are no one's priority. So to have somebody say to you, of course I will, thank you so much for asking, is revolutionary.
Right. It really is. It really is. So, Yep. So anyway.
All right, friends. Look at us doing another episode. We're so fun. I haven't said that in a while, so I'm gonna say it again. We are so fun.
We are so fun, y'all.
I appreciate everybody that's listening. We've had several, and I appreciate you very much.
Absolutely.
Next week, Mandee doesn't know it yet, but I think I want to start that whole name game because I have a really funny story that goes with it. So we'll talk about that and get that ready for you next week for fun college football player names.
Okay.
Because they're out there, man. Wow, they're out there. Parents are crazy. And we'll talk more baseball. And we'll know who wins the Little League World Series by then and all the fun stuff with that and how the Braves and the Cubs are doing. Mandee will keep us posted. And it is my turn to do favorites. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I can't wait.
You never know.
Wait, cemetery reads.
What might be
where
revealed.
to find them.
Oh, God, that's awesome. All right, friend.
Well, all right, Fred. You're the best. I love you. I don't care what Brooke says. You're the best.